So did you happen to see this inside the Oval Office today? The commander-in-chief, with his strongest statement yet, asked about the possibility of annexing Greenland.
I think it'll happen. We've been dealing with Denmark, we've been dealing with Greenland, and we have to do it. We really need it for national security. I think that's why NATO might have to get involved in a way, because we really need Greenland for national security.
The president even suggesting the head of NATO could help facilitate the possible acquisition of the world's largest island. It also comes a day after Greenland's opposition party was elected. Their leader says that the island, Greenland, not for sale. Here with me now is Carla Sands. She was the former ambassador to Denmark and Greenland under President Trump in the first Trump administration. Great to have you here.
Great to be here.
Thanks for being with us. So this was talked about in Trump 1.0, and it was kind of like laughed at and mocked a little bit. But he's doubled, quadrupled, tripled, whatever the word is down at this point in time. Why is he doing it? What's the reason? You know the thinking behind it. What's the reason why the president's doing this?
Well, I think it's a common sense solution, and the status quo is unsustainable. Denmark can't afford to develop Greenland. They also can't afford to defend it. They just don't have the capacity. They have an economy about the size of the state of Colorado. And so in order to secure our northeast, I mean, literally Denmark, the world's largest, Greenland, the world's largest island, just off our northeast coast, 1/3 the size of the continental U.S., is largely undefended. When I got there in 2017, the U.S. was really almost absent the Arctic. We have a base called Pitifik Space Base. It's in the north of Greenland, but other than that, we hadn't had diplomatic relations for years.
When you say defended, you think it needs to be defended from China. That's what you think this is about.
Well, I think China and Russia. So Russia's been doing a lot of things around Greenland. Certainly, they have the submarines, they have the frigates, but China is really the biggest threat, as you said, because they tried to pull Greenland into their Belt and Road Initiative back in 2017.
When you think about Greenland, you also think about the rare earth minerals, right?
Yeah.
Rare earth reserves, it would basically be doubling up for the United States. What's in Greenland is basically the same amount that we have now. How much of this is a play? I know you talk about China, I know you talk about safety, the Arctic and how the U.S. could use that, but how much of this as well comes down to the actual rare earth minerals?
So I think that the rare earth minerals are kind of like just a sidecar benefit.
Really?
The actual play is to secure Greenland because it's not secure. And I think that so China has a minority interest. When I was there, they have a minority interest in a majority of the rare earth mines there. When I got to Greenland and Denmark, there was no U.S. investment. They were begging for U.S. investment. And I did get some State Department funds to help them with the mining, help them with their tourism, which they really want to promote. But what President Trump is suggesting is the fact that if the U.S. does a deal, and he hasn't even proposed a deal to Greenland yet. There's no deal on the table.
Right. He's talking about annexing.
But he's talking, if there was a COFA or something where there's an association like Micronesia or Palau, what would happen is the Greenlanders are still Greenlandic, but they get the U.S. investment and the U.S. security as a benefit.
So I guess the bottom line question is this going to happen in the form of annexation or what you just laid out? Where do you think this ends? You were there for 4 years. Where do you think this goes over the next 4?
So what I think is that President Trump, I don't speak for his administration.
Yeah, no, you're outside of the administration.
I am.
You were there, you're outside now.
That's right. But I do believe he'll get a deal done. The Greenlanders are hungry for experiencing the Greenlandic dream. They want investment. They want infrastructure. There's not even a road between 2 towns in Greenland, if you can imagine. So there's no infrastructure. They have some airports and things like that. But we built most of those, the U.S. military.
We'll see you back here later in the show.
Great.
Former Ambassador Carla Sands. Appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Let's see you.
Thank you for watching, and make sure you go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.